Hello everyone, it's Key of W with Artisan of Glimmith. I guess I'm the Artisan of Glimmith channel now. So what I was going to do, because we were close to the end of the game I think, as I was going to do this whole flyby of the whole world, go like, look at all these places we've been. But when I went back here, I noticed there was a puzzle I missed that I'd like to do, and it was in here. Actually, there were a couple puzzles I missed. See these beams of light? There's some puzzles in this area that I didn't complete. So I'm going to actually do these. I'm not going to do the one over here, the sevener, because I know it's going to take a while. I'm going to do these, and then I'm going to do a flyby over the whole area. There you go. So it's just back to rose windows. We're just doing these, from the beginning of the game. Let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have to make 8 regions. Let's just color them all in. I don't know which region is going to be which yet, but here is what we've got to have. So the question is, who takes this square? We can start with that. Well, I know it's not red, because if red takes this square here, then it can't take the square below it. So it would have to move down to the diamond. But now there's no triangle for it to reach. So we know we have to block that off, which is going to bring the red down. Now, where does it go from here? It can move to the right to grab the diamond, but it can't go any further because there's only squares in the way, and of course circles. So it must move down to get this triangle. Now I don't know whether it takes the diamond below or the diamond to the right. We don't know that yet. Now let's look at another section. Let's see. Any other gimmies? Okay, I think I have one here. If the green section here moves leftward to grab this triangle, it can't move down. Thus, it's trapped in this T shape up here, which is fine for green. But now orange is in real trouble because orange is going to have to move down, and now there's nowhere for it to go to collect a triangle. Therefore, we can't move leftward from here. We must move down. Now, we can move left to grab this diamond, but then we would block our way here, and there's nowhere for us to get a square. So we have to stop at this point. All right, before we continue with green, let's go back to orange. Orange cannot grab any triangles except the one here at the top, because in order to grab this triangle, it has to collect 2 of these shapes. That's not allowed, so we have to bring it over here. That means it can't collect the square. The orange space is done. Okay, so there's a couple places green can go. It can move right and then down, or it can just move straight down. But if we were to move straight down like so, we're going to break the puzzle because no one can grab this diamond without grabbing 2 squares. Therefore, we can't move down even 1 space because now we're trapping ourselves in. So we have to move to the right. That's going to force the green piece to be an S shape. Okay, do we get any more? We can look at yellow. Which triangle is yellow going to grab? This one. It's the only triangle it can grab because it's the only one we can reach. And it's the first one we can reach. We can't reach any of the others without going through the first one. So this will be a yellow space, forcing us to go through here. In fact, just that's all 4 of them. So now who's going to grab these? It can't be red going to the right because now no one gets the square. So teal is going to move up and down. That forces red. Okay. Now who's going to grab the diamond in the lower left? It can't be purple because in order for purple to reach, it has to go through this diamond. Therefore, cyan is going to grab it, and cyan's piece is done. At this point, we pretty much have this solved. All right, and then there's another one hidden down. How do I? Do I get it from below? I do. There's a difficult. It's a 5er, but we'll do a 5er. It's once we get to like the 6th difficulty where I'm like, this is going to take a while. So now we just have 3 regions we have to deal with. I'm going to go red, green, and blue. I don't know which one's going to be which yet. So I'm going to, while I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to make extra regions here that'll eventually turn into the other colors. So I know that there's going to be a cyan coming out of here, which is going to make a different region coming out of there. For sure that is going to happen. Now, if we were to block this off, this, yeah, we can't block this off. Whatever region goes into here must move left, because you can see we got 2 squares in here and only 1 entrance. Red would therefore take one of them and leave the other one without somewhere to go. So this must move this direction. Now, in order for red to escape and get any other symbols, it must go through here. So we've solved a bit of red, I think. Is that right? Hold on a second. If red goes through here, it can't take this space, which means it can't take that space. So what it's got to be then is this is the red section. That's the only answer. I was thinking if it was a different segment here. No, this has to be how red works. It must take this space because somebody else has to be here. And so if red doesn't take the space, this person would take it, and then we have a problem. So this is how it goes. Red's not down there. So I still don't know what that one is, but this one is certainly red. Red can no longer take a square. It's possible that red takes these, but it's also possible that green takes them. I'm not totally sure how this is going to work yet. But now red is forced to head this direction, and it can't grab this square. The square also can't be taken by this region. So this is either the green or the blue region. So whichever region it is, the other region grabs the square. Is there a way the green region doesn't take the triangle at the bottom? There is if somebody else comes down and grabs it, but that's kind of long way to go. Which triangle can red grab? There's 3. The only way red can grab this triangle... Yeah, red can't cut through the center. Besides the fact it's going to really mess with this, it would grab 2 of these symbols. So red does have to go around the back end. This is the only way to get to one of the triangles, which means it must grab this triangle. So let's also take these dead ends to prevent any problems. So blue, therefore, is going to take this square. It's probably going to take that one as well. That means green must take this. So red is going to grab that space. Green, let's see, does green grab this diamond? If not, green might not grab this diamond. No, if green doesn't grab this diamond, then which one does it? It would grab this stuff here. Actually, yeah, red is going to grab this diamond, I think, because green is going to take these, and now green is complete. Right? Or no, how's it going to get up there? This is how it is. And now red has to take this corner piece, so red should be complete. Now blue should be able to grab the rest of these, and that's the puzzle. That's a beautiful puzzle. I think now I have everything from this section. I don't know, I just wanted that to be done because it was one of the sections that I did 100%, or I thought I did. So having puzzles incomplete there irritated me. So yeah, the flyby, this is everything we've done. We've gone through all of this stuff. There's so many puzzles we've done, leading us all the way to here. But to get here, we probably have to do this 6 boss puzzle. So this was the big one I was going to do today after that little flyby. So we've got our shape bank. We've got a mingle shape rule, so all neighboring regions have to have different shapes, palisade, and difference. There's a lot going on here. I'm going to start at the top section and look at the shapes that we can put in here. We can put 2 dominoes up here, but that's going to cause a problem with the mingle shape. The only shape, therefore, that goes here is going to be the L shape. I'm going to make L shapes purple if I can help it. This must be a elbow shape. I'm going to make those cyan if I can help it. All right, let's look at this corner piece, corner dead end piece. It's going to extend out and to the right. No. If it extends out this way, it has to be an L shape or an elbow. This shape would require us to have extra space above and to the right. So this is just a domino. That is what's required here. But we can't have a domino here. So whatever comes out does have to bend. Now it could be just an elbow, or it could be... Oh no, it wouldn't be this. This isn't how it would go. I think it's an elbow, because if we have this here, yeah, we'd have to have the other piece there. So I think it's just another elbow entirely. Now here, this piece can be a domino. In fact, I think it has to be a domino. It can't be an elbow. It could be an L shape going down, so I'm going to leave it. Now we can't have an elbow or a domino here. Neither of them fit. We also can't put an L shape because we have some orphan things. So this is the required sextomino in that spot. Definitely have a domino here. So that does mean we can't have a domino here because that causes a problem. So this is required to be an L shape. It's the only thing that fits, and it can't move up. So that is done. In here, we can't have two dominoes, so it must be an L shape. All right, so what's in here? This has to be a domino because it can't be an elbow because it's touching that, and it can't be an L shape because it would touch. Now, it can't be this shape. It doesn't fit because if we do the elbow part of this, I'm thinking of this as two elbows stacked together. The other part of it would be behind here, so it must be a domino. What would go in this spot up here? Now, we can't put a domino in this area. I was thinking, what if we made it... So what if we did this shape here? Well, then we would need to find a way to put two shapes there, and it would have to be a domino and an L shape. But there is no way to do an L shape that doesn't touch one of those three. And those all touch L shapes. So this can't be that shape there. So it has to be an elbow, which has to go that way. How am I going to do this now? I know. Here's how you do it. Domino, this shape. That's the only way I can think of, because there can't be any L shapes up here. And elbows, here, I'll even show you just in case you doubt me. You doubt key of W. Jail for mother, jail for 1,000 years. So if I were to not put that piece here, I can't put any L shapes up here. This is the only way I could do an L shape in this area, but of course it leaves another L shape. I could put a domino here, right? But then elbow piece would go here if I don't do the green one. Or I could say this is an elbow piece, but then we have a problem there. So it really is just going to be those pieces there. So now I don't think I can solve the rest of this until I start looking at these. Okay, looking at our shapes here, which shape allows for a cross? It's only this one, only the big sextomino. That has to go here because the palisade means that's what we do. So we don't know which of these corners here is going to be filled in, but one of them is going to be filled in. If it isn't here, then we'd have to have a domino shape here, which is fine. If it is here, we still have some options, so that's not guaranteed. I do have to block this. So now I need a shape that has 3 across. So these two shapes are out. No domino, no elbow. It could be an L shape here. It can't be this shape. There is no 3 across that doesn't also go up and down. So L shape goes here and either up on the left or on the right. I'm going to block that. We now have our corner here. Corner means we have at least an elbow. So this is required, but it could also be this shape, right? It can't be this shape. Look at our palisade here. If we have this shape, the palisade now has a corner wall. So we do have a regular elbow here. Palisade with this shape means it can't be this one. Must be an L shape. The question is, does it go up or sideways, horizontal, vertical? Here, let me jump into the difference area. So difference of 1. So we have 2, 3, 4, and 6. So on either side of this, we have, there's an elbow in one of these spaces because we have to have 2, 3, or 4. This could be the elbow. We can have a domino or an L shape. But we can't have the sextomino, the double elbow. We can't have that in either space here. But we have to have a difference of 4. And the only way to get a difference of 4 is 2 to 6. The 6 can't go in here. Therefore, this is our double elbow. This is our domino. Okay. This double elbow must go... Okay, there's a couple ways you can make the double elbow. We can make it like so, but it causes an orphan piece. You're screwed. The only other way, I believe, is like this, which is another orphan. This is another way to do it. This is... Okay, here we go. This is the only arrangement that doesn't cause an orphan piece. Requires us to make these moves, and now we have to have 3 here. This got to be an elbow. Not sure how it's going to be done. Elbow... Yeah, this is possible. I think they're all possible. I don't think there's anything that is an immediate break. Okay, so let's look over here. Difference between 6 and whatever's here. We can't go above 6, so it's going to be smaller. This has to be a 4. This has to be a 3. And now a difference of 1. This is a 2 or a 4. Which means this is a 2, 4, or 6. Oh dear. Okay, it's getting a little tricky. Well, we have to have 2 and 6 on either side of this. There is no way to fit a 6 here, I don't think. It would have to... Yeah, if this was a 6, we can't move down or right. We'd have to move up. And then the elbow would have to bend left, which would mean the double part of the elbow would be here, which is impossible. Therefore, this has to be the 2, and then this has to be the 6. Now, this 2 can't extend up or down because then we have an orphaned piece. So we do have to bring it in like so. And this does, in fact, work with our notes. So this 2 here is going to extend up to a 4. And now this can't be a 2 because it's touching another 2. So we got 2 6s here. Let me quick fill in. We got 3, and then we've got a couple of 4s. A couple of unruly 4s. Now this 6 is going to be connected to itself, probably. I think it has to be. This 6 can't move downward at all. How on earth is this shape going to work? Because then it would have to bend in. So we know that is a corner. So who goes there? All right, we can't put a domino here. That's going to be next to another domino. We can't put a double elbow. We can't put an L piece. The only way to make an L piece here would be to go out this way, and then it touches another L piece. Therefore, this is an elbow. That's the 3. All right, who goes in this spot? That's the question. I actually see multiple options here, so I'm gonna abandon that plan. The plan was, can I fix this section? No, I can't. This 3, where is it gonna go? Okay, let's look at this again. This difference of a 4. It's got to be 2 and 6. There cannot be a 6 here. There's no way. Because any elbow we make, if we make it up here, we'd have to put the other elbow behind the wall. And if we make it down here, we'd have to put it behind the wall. There's no way we could put a 6 there. Therefore, 2 and 6. Okay, this will help us a little bit. Don't know what direction those are moving yet. Okay, the 6, let's imagine it moves up. Okay, it can't move to the right except here, which would cause that. That is a totally valid thing we can do. But it can't be, yeah, it can't bend that way. If it moved this way, here's a second valid option. And that is not a valid option, nor is that a valid option. Both of those require crossing a boundary of some kind. So it looks like this way. Is this one? No, that's not valid because we'd put that across the border. So it looks like this is part of the same green section. These are together, either up this way or that way, which means if this is 6, that's 3. And the 3 cannot extend leftward because then what is 2 away? There's nothing. There's no 5. There's no 1. The 3 is to move up or down. It can't go that way, though. If it was this, this is possible. That's possible. That's possible. It's something. I just don't know if it's good enough. If these two 6s didn't connect, how would that happen? I would have to do that, which already breaks this palisade. I can't do that. So these 6s do connect. And that is the only shape that is allowed. Once again, looking at this palisade, if I go through it this direction, that is valid. This is not valid. No way to fit anything in there. If I go through it this direction, that's also valid. Or that. Both of those are valid. So no matter which direction I go, we have a domino here. Okay. Sure, this has to be how the 6 goes. I can't think of any other way to arrange these 6s. The 6... Yeah, the only way the 6 doesn't touch this one was to break the palisade here. The 4... It could touch this too. Hold on. This 4 can't extend over here. Because what's 3 away from 4? 1, which there's no shape for, and 7, which there's no shape for. Therefore, we can't extend it out this far. Doesn't mean we have to extend it this far, or even this far. This is a possibility. This is a possibility. And that is a possibility. There's got to be a 4 on some side of this. That's the only way to do it. It's 2-4 or 4-6. That's what this is. Not sure which. Now the 4 could easily extend up there. What's down here? I could put a 4 there, right? But I don't have to. I could easily put a 3 or a 2. Huh. Wait, hold on. This 3, right. We can't put the 3 here, right? Because then we have a 6. How would I put a 6 in here? This is how I'd put a 6 in here. Oh, now we have trouble. I don't think we could ever have a 3 there. Right? Because if we did, we'd have to have 6. Now, where's 6 going to go? It can't extend up this way because we're going to have a problem with this shape touching. So it would have to be this shape. Great. How do we fit a 4 and something else in there? We can't do that. Therefore, if the 3 doesn't touch there, it has to be this shape. Which means this is the 6? Which means this is not right. Right? Because if we have to have 6 and 3, the only way we can do a difference of 3, the 6 can't be on that side, and the 3 can't be on the other. So 6 must be here, which is going to touch that space, meaning that is not a 6. I was wrong. Fired. That's going to force this here. No, that doesn't work either. Okay, something's wrong here. Well, then how else would I do the 3? If it touches this space, we have to have a 6. No, I think I got it. I think I just missed this potential arrangement. So once again, we can't do this. This works, right? Because now we have another 3. but the 3 here has to be like that. So now the 4 has to move up like this. This is the only way we can fit these fellas in. Okay. I think this is the only way we can do this section. But now the difference of 3 must be 3 and 6. The 3 must be here, and the 6 must be there. Now let's think about how we're going to do this 3. If we move the 3 upward, we're going to force either an orphan space, which doesn't work, or we're going to force another domino, which we can't have. So this 3 cannot move up. It must move this direction. Now the 6 can't move leftward. It can move leftward. But how would it do that? If I moved the 6 leftward, what shape is it going to fill here? It can't go down from here. So if I move up like so, we have one of our elbows. What doesn't fit that way. If I do this, that doesn't work. Here doesn't work. This works, but now it creates another elbow. So I don't think it moves left. This is a totally doable thing, but again, I don't have a guarantee on that. Well, it can't move down because of that. Yeah, if it can't move down at all, it's one of these 2 spaces. Because if it's any of these spaces in the shape, it has to move down from here. Unless it's this one, but then it would have to move right. So it's one of these 2 spaces. It has to be the bottom corner. Well, that's if you don't rotate it. So if you do it the other way around, it can't be above these shapes. So yeah, this is the only way to do it. Yeah, I can't do it that way. Can't do it that way. I don't know. I think this is it. Don't ask me to rotate shapes in my mind. So this 4 has to come out. And then it can't bend, so it has to go all the way. Nope, because this is going to cause a problem as well. No matter what I do here, I'm screwed. So maybe this is wrong? Yeah, hold on. Yeah, it just rotated this the wrong way. That's it. And then this must be a 2, because it's the only thing that doesn't touch properly. So yeah, this is probably still here. Now this must be a domino. Let's get rid of that. All right, looking down here, we know this is a domino because of the way that this palisade is forced the 4, but also because we can't do any other shape. Can't be an elbow because it's already touching one. Can't be an L because it would be touching this. Actually, if this is an L, it could be an L here. In fact, now with this shape, this is a possible thing I could do. If I go through this direction, I have to go up from there. If I go through this direction, I have to go this way or that way. And there's still a lot of possibilities here. This must also be an L shape. It's the only one that has it passed through like that. This must be an L shape. Forces an L shape here, actually. Huh. This can't go left, so yeah, I think we have to take that shape here. That was probably staring me in the face for a while. This is going to be a domino or an elbow. Actually, if this is a domino, the puzzle breaks. Because I can't put a domino here, but I can't put 2 more green pieces in there. So we have an elbow here, and that's actually going to force our green shape. Which means this shape must come down, but now we have a dead end shape here, so it must be complete as a domino. We have to have another shape here. I should probably look at that. But it can't be this one. We have to have that corner, and the only way to make this work is an elbow shape. We have a dead end shape here. There's a couple things we could do for dead end. Well, it can't be elbow or double elbow. those are restricted. So it's either a domino or an L shape. But if it's an L shape, it can't extend 3 spaces up or 1 space to the right. So it must extend 1 up and then curve, but then it's going to touch that one. Therefore, this is a domino space. Don't know if it goes right or up, though. What fits down here? What does fit down here? New idea. That doesn't work either, right? It's a corner. So I do have to bring it. I think I've broken the puzzle somewhere. What else could this be? This has to be a dead end. It started up here. This can't cross sideways because it makes an orphan piece. It has to cross down. Can't make an orphan piece. I don't think this piece can go in that corner. If it did, well, let's think what goes here. We can't have an orange piece there. We can't have an L. Where's it going to go? Can't be green. So it would have to be an elbow shape. If it moves up, we have that. It would have to move down. But now what goes here? It has to be another elbow, but those touch. Okay, something is off down here that I've done wrong. Let's take this back again. Make sure I do this right. This side here I think is good. Now over here, I think this is also good. This shape has to be an L shape. There is no other way to do it. Every other shape here there's 3 sides on all of these, or corners. This is the only spot on the L shape that works. So if I blocked this, we have a shape here that doesn't work. So we can't block it. We have to bring it up and down. That much is guaranteed. Therefore, there has to be a shape here. We can't bring this to the left because it can't be a single. So this L, I think, is forced. Now down here, we can't have any walls. A single wall is going to break this. So whatever's here has to extend like a cross. It must be the green shape. Now in this spot, can we have a domino here? No. A domino shape would require either another domino shape or it would require something else to go in here. The only thing that fits is this. So maybe, yeah, we have to have an elbow shape here. And now it forces the green to move up this way. So now, no shape fits here. We have to have 3 walls. This can't be one of the walls because then we have a single shape. Therefore, that must be orange. Now, in here we can't have orange. Cannot have green. Because the green would have to come out, and it can't move up because now it's touching the other green. Can't move down because then it would also touch there. So it must be blue, because it can't be the L shape. Because no matter what we do, we create an orphan space. This must be elbow. Now, we can't put an L shape here. The L shape would come out. And it would go down, which touches the other L shape. So it has to be part of the elbow. But the corner piece, okay, I think I got it. I think I didn't actually have it wrong. I think it just, we have to put the corner piece as part of this one. I had marked it as being different. Because now we could put a thing there like that. That's how it was. Okay, this works. Now we have to have a dead end here, which forces it to be part of the domino. Right? Because something has to come out from this space, and whatever comes out here already uses up the one exit we can have for the palisade. So this must be right. All right, what goes here? We could have a domino, or we can have an elbow. Either way, that's a wall, which means this is not a wall. What goes here? Elbow or domino. Either way, these two are the same, and there's a wall there. Now here could be elbow, domino. There's a wall there, no matter what. Can't put either the L shape or the double L. It has to either be a domino or a regular elbow. Either way, it can't go past that spot. Here has to be an L shape. It's touching the other three. And then it can't move left at all. And if it moves right, it has to move all the way, touch the other L shape. Therefore, it comes down. And it can't move left because it creates an orphan. It must move right, creating a domino there. Now here must either be a double elbow or a regular elbow. A double elbow would cause a problem. This is a regular elbow, puts a domino shape there, puts a regular elbow here. This is now the corner piece. Now the corner can't be part of the regular elbow. It can't be part of the domino. It has to either be the L piece or the double L piece, or double elbow. I want to do this. Now, if it was part of this piece here, it would be this shape. Because it would have to go both of these directions, which is impossible. Therefore, it's an L piece. It can't move down two spaces, but it has to move down. So it has to move in this direction, putting our elbow there. This space here can't be domino or L, but it also can't be double L, because it will be a problem. So we have to put an elbow here, right? I've done something wrong again. This is a domino. What do we do? Is there any way? Let's look somewhere else for a second. This can't happen. This could happen. This or that. Can't go up. This. Like, I'm clearly missing something on a puzzle like this. It's difficult, and I'm clearly making some kind of move that is not allowed. This L would be possible. It would create an L here and a couple dominoes. But then what would I put here? Well, let's just look at this one. If I move it straight up and down, the only corner piece that could go here would in fact be, hold on, the elbow, but we can't do that. Is there any other piece we could put here? No. Somewhere I've made a blunder. I just don't know where. This shape has to be the double L. There's no getting around it. This shape has to be the L, and it has to move that way. So that forces a domino or an elbow here. There's no getting around it. This was a forced domino. If this is domino, what goes here? Because whatever comes out here, for instance, would have to... Yeah, this corner, we can't do that. So we have to grab both of those. But then this piece needs to go like so. I mean, we have this option, but now it grabs this piece. That doesn't work. Yeah, this is the only way to make that shape. So something's wrong in here. Or something's wrong up here, and the entire puzzle is bonkers from this point on. What if it's wrong from up here? There's no way. There's no way this is wrong. Is it? If I take all of these out, if I say, what if I got it wrong for the tippy top of the puzzle? What would I do? This shape is forced. There is no getting around this shape. It cannot be done. Any domino here causes a problem because you can't fit an L, because you have to fit six in the shape. Either has to be a 2 plus a 4. There's nowhere to put the L. 2 3s, you can't do that. So it's just a 6. This is just a domino. That is done. This shape must be an elbow, and then this shape must be an L because you can't put 2 dominoes next to each other. So that forces here to either be a purple, but it can't touch a purple, and it also makes an orphan. An elbow makes an orphan, so it must be a domino. That is still correct. So up here cannot be a domino because it touches, and then it can't be the other two, so it has to be an elbow. So here we can't have a domino because it'll touch the domino there. It must be purple, but it can't move up because it touches another one. So that still is good. Here must be an L shape, so we can't put an L or an elbow. We have to put a domino. That's all we can do. Here's another option I didn't think of. No, this doesn't work either because I need a domino and an elbow. Any elbow is going to make 2 next to each other. So I can't do that. Okay, I was thinking maybe there's another way around that. So it has to be an elbow? Or is this... This shape, though, causes a problem because now we need 6 in here, and they have to be a 2 and a 4. There is no place to put an L shape in here, so therefore, that's that. Okay, I was looking for a way out. I don't have a way out. This is still it. So now in here, this space right there cannot be elbow or L, so it's either domino or double L. Double L is not going to fit here. There is no way to avoid all of that. Forced domino there. Now, can't be L or elbow here. So again, yeah, I was right. I was still correct. Here must be an L shape. And then it's got to go that way. So these are still good. This has to be an elbow. There's no way to make this shape. Which means here is a domino. It's the only thing to fit. Here's an elbow. All right, what do we put here? This is all correct too. Can I put something here? The only way I could do this... Yeah, the only way I could do this would be another one of these shapes, but I can't do that. That is illegal. They'll fire you for that. This can't be wrong. So that's the corner. So if I do this, I allow myself this move, right? But now what goes here? I can't block that. It would have to be both of these. So it can't be an elbow because we've got 2 elbows next to each other here. Can't be a domino because that's a dead end. So it would have to be an L shape or a double elbow. And the elbow would have to be like this. That's not viable. this has to be like so. So it is an L shape, and the only L shape allowed, either of those two would have to go, which means this is touching or that's touching. What have I done wrong in here? Is this section wrong? How on earth is this section wrong? Is there any other way to fill this in? But I don't see how filling this in any differently would change things. Because the problem is here. No matter what I do here, it's this up against that corner. So I would have to look at this section again, which is impossible. This section cannot be done any differently than I just did it. These two have to be green. There's no getting out of that. Any wall would be a problem. All of these have at least one wall on any side. Therefore, that's done. This section has to move down, therefore it's got to move all the way through. But it also has to have walls on these sides, therefore it's here. This doesn't work, it must be here. So once again, we're stuck in this area, making an elbow shape. It's the only thing that doesn't cause a problem. So if I were to put the corner here, it would be green. Can't be an orange shape because orange shape doesn't have corner. Can't be either of these two because it would cause them to touch. It would have to be green. The only way to do that is to then clash with that green. Therefore, the wall goes here. How do you make this fit? It touches, no matter what I do. So there's clearly a different way to do this. But how would you do this any differently? How would this be done any differently? Okay, once again, we just have to clear it out, because as long as I'm looking at what's here, as long as I'm not looking at possibility space, clearing all of this out, this is still forced. We can't block that. We must do this. It must be here, and it must move to the right. This must be a green space, therefore this has to be an elbow, because a domino would create two dominoes. Non-negotiable. I just do not see a way out of that. So we have to have a different scenario here, because this cannot be the corner. There's no way to make this work. Unless I'm really blind. It's possible I'm just very stupid, but I don't like that idea. So we can't have this, right? Because if we had the corner as part of a green, this corner is certainly not going to work. This corner is a little bit better. If I were to do this, I'm not putting it in for sure. We'd have a orange there, a domino there. We'd have to make this the move. Oh, no, we wouldn't. We could still fit there. Now what do we do here? Because now we have a problem trying to fit into this shape. Again, there's no way to do anything but green in here. Especially with this domino here. Elbows would make two elbows. There's just no getting around it. So what goes here? Elbow shape is a problem. So we have domino here. If this can't happen, because what do we fit up here? It's got to be that. Right? Because domino shape, great. But now what goes here is another domino. Therefore, the only thing is elbow. What goes here? Domino, maybe? Elbow would be here. It would have to be an elbow. Now, how do we fit stuff in here? It would have to be this shape. Green isn't going to fit. That would be the shape. I think we're going to run into trouble on this side. I don't think this is possible. Yeah, this isn't possible. Once again, I said, yeah, this just doesn't work. That doesn't work. So this won't ever work because we have to cover that space. So that's not the corner, at least not like that. It can't be this. It can't be that. Can it be this corner? If this was the corner, we'd have an elbow piece. That can't be the corner either. So it's like here? Like, what's even happening here? I mean, this just isn't going to work. No, that can't happen. This can't happen, because then what do we do there? So it's looking like this is still correct. Now, in here, what goes in that spot? The only thing it fits is this, but now we have a problem with that. So that can't be the elbow. This is very frustrating. Because, like, I keep resetting and redoing the puzzle. This has been, like, attempt number 4 at the puzzle, and it still doesn't solve itself. This side doesn't even come into it. I could be completely wrong over here. It's still not giving me the answer. Tell you what, I just have to. I have to reset the whole thing because I need to just get rid of all the assumptions. Something is wrong. And we have to just go with what cannot be false. That has to be a domino. There's no getting around. I feel like I'm gonna end up in the same position I was. I'm gonna end up in the same position where I did moves. Okay, what goes up here? It has to be a 2, 3, 4, 6. We can only fit a 2 or a 3. Elbow shape. This cannot be 2 2s. It must be a 4. That's an L shape. This shape cannot be anything but the 6 shape because a 2 and a 4, there's nowhere to fit the L shape without making orphans. 2 3s makes the same shape at the end. So, like, these are all set. You cannot have any shape here. Here, I'll even show you. How do these both have 3 walls? This is 3 walls, 3 walls. This is 2 walls, but they're on a corner. 0 walls in the center. 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, all corners. Therefore, that's the only shape that this affords. Now, if we block this, it doesn't work, so we have to come down. We can't move to the left because we create an orphan. That is a required shape. There is no way around it. The only shape that has 0 walls on any of its cells is the 6 shape. Cool? We all good with this so far? Let's see. Some shape has to go here. We know that much. If it's a domino, we have this. Now, what do we put here? We can't put another domino. There's only 2 spaces left. We have to fill them. We can't fill them with this domino, and we can't fill them with this because we only have 1 more space left. Therefore, this is not a domino. It also can't be an L shape. It must be an elbow. That forces this shape, excuse me, to go there. For some reason, it wasn't working when I was clicking on it. Okay, so now we need something to go here. It's going to move down, but now this dead end is complete. So this is all required. I cannot see any way out of this. If this is incorrect, I don't know how it's incorrect. I'm actually getting quite frustrated with this one because I don't feel like I'm being blocked because of my knowledge. I feel like I'm being blocked because something's unfair. That's what it feels like in this puzzle, which is very frustrating to work with. This space, again, the double wall is required to be an L shape. There is no getting out of it. Therefore, this is the corner piece. What can this be? Corner piece cannot have a domino. Because it's next to this L, it can't be an L. There is no way to fit a green shape in. The only way to fit it would be this, and it would touch the other one. So this must be an elbow. That is the required move, because the corner must be here. All right. Now, this L must move up into here and up into there. Okay, the rest of this is not as guaranteed. This must be blocked. Actually, all of these edges must be blocked. Okay, that's guaranteed stuff over here. Now let's just look at guaranteeds. Now the notes down here, the difference between this is 6 and 2. Is the difference of 4. Now with that, we can't have the 6 in here. There's no way to make the shape work. So this must be the 2. The domino must go here. There is no getting out of it. Therefore, it must move left. This is still correct. This must be an elbow shape. It has to be a 3. Then we must have that. Now we want to avoid orphan pieces anywhere. So, for instance, this does not work. There's an orphan piece. But I don't know for sure if there's another way to rotate this that I haven't thought of. It's possible. Let's see. Now we have to, again, do 2 and 6 here. Or the other way around. 2, 6, 2, 6. A 3 difference is a 3, 6. And a 4 is a 2, 6. 3, 6. 3, 6. 3, 6. 3, 6. 3, 6. 3, 6. So 2 away. What's 2 away from 3? 1 or 5. We don't have that shape. Therefore, we are forcing now 6 and 3. This is where we were before. This is a 4. 1 away from this is a 2 or a 4. 2 away from this is 2, 4, 6. 2 away from that is 2, 4, 6. We don't know for sure. This can't be a 3 here, so if this is a 3, it's got to move up or down. We know that much. Again, this is still just dealing with what we know for sure. Is there any way to make this 6 not touch that one? Well, if we were to move it down, this one's screwed. We're assuming they don't touch. If it moves left, this one is also, because it has to avoid. So therefore, these two touch each other. Let's look on this shape for how to make things apart. There's only one. This is the only piece that is within a knight's move from the other. So this must be, one of these two must be the knight's move corner. This is one way, the knight's move corner, but now we have an orphan space. This is another way. Is there any other? I think that's it. I think this is the only one. And this is where we were before. Okay. What's that? Put a bunch of stuff there, not totally sure. We're probably going to end up right back where we were, and I'm going to have to figure something out that I don't understand, and it's not making me very happy. Oop, I meant to do that. Is there any way I can figure out the rest of these without guesswork? I don't see any other way to make this 6. We have to feature both of these spaces. Any other arrangement of 6 does not feature those two spaces, except for putting stuff over here. You can also think of it as an S shape. So the bottom right corner looking up at this shape is going to make an S into this bit or it's going to make an S up there. But either way, from here to there has to have an S shape. The only S shape that it can have is these 4 cells. There must be 2 more cells, either this one and that one, or this one and that one. We can't have orphan cells here, so this is the only arrangement of 6. What arrangement of cells can we make with the 6 here? So we're going back to where we were before. And there's no way. Because if we're looking at the rightmost edge of the cell in any sort of direction, we also have to not be able to be a cell next to it. So it's something like one of these 2 cells. And there's no arrangement that doesn't also move. Yeah, so if you think of this cell can't be any of these 4 in the box, in the O part of the shape, because then it would have to cross the border either left or right, and it can't do that. And if it's the dead end pieces, you see like this dead end piece, when it moves, it's going to extend both directions. This one, when it moves, will extend both directions. We can't extend both directions. So we can, in fact, still put it back where it was. 2, 6. This is, okay, we're just doing what we did before. We're not making any different choices here. So how do we solve this puzzle? This is a possible way to do 6. Yeah, if I think of it as 2 elbows, this is one of the elbows, so we put the other one up there. This is one of the elbows, we can't put it there. This one we can't do because we don't have room to put it there. This one we can't do. This one we can't do. I don't see any other way. It's probably that. Can this be a 3? Yes, it can. I see, hold on. This is also possible. Actually, no. What goes here? Can't be a 2, because then difference of 3 doesn't work. Can't be a 6. Is there any way this is a 6? If this is 6, it moves out. Yes, this is also possible. I don't know if I did this one before. I don't remember which direction I went before. But if we were to assume this is a 3, we now have to make it go like this. How do I make a 6 down here? There's no way to make the shape. So I think once again we have to have a 6 here and a 3 there. Which means that the 6 connects here. How? Am I... This doesn't work because 2 can't go in the difference. This doesn't work because then what goes here? This is a 2. Right? Because if the 2 moves down, so it has to move up. This still doesn't have to be 6 though. I just know the 2 has to move up. That's all I know. But the 6 can't, this can't be 6 because it would connect here and then we don't have anywhere to put it. So therefore this is a 3. Then how on earth do we make a 6 here? No, I'm definitely looking at this all wrong. Hold on. So 3 apart is 3, 6. 4 apart is 2, 6. I'm doing this until I have absolutely no way to make any separate idea. Because apparently when I get to make choices, I make them wrong. Okay. So once again, this can't be a 6. There's no way to make the shape. So we have to do that. We have to. I'm sure of it. I'm sure this won't come back to bite me. But the thing is, I'm not sure anymore with this puzzle. I'm just not sure of it. In here, 2 or 4. Well, whatever this shape is, it's got to come out. So maybe down here is the place I can just make sure there's... I feel like I'm going to get the same thing I had before, though. I'm trying to have something different. I need a different answer than what I had before. This can't be a 4, because it will come out, and then you can't have something 4 away from it. It must be 2. That's going to solve all of these. 2s. This must now be 6 again. So we're right back where we were before, unable to solve the puzzle. 2 away is 4. This has to be 6 as well. All right. The 4 can't extend all the way, so it does have to go that far at least, right? No, it can do that. Okay. 3. What goes in here? A 4 would cause a problem because it would extend out that far, touch the other 4, or would come up and touch this, but it can't be. So this can't be a 4, it can't be a dime, it can't be a 6. It must be an elbow. So we've got that elbow just like we had before, no difference. This can't do that. Can't block both of those spaces. So it feels like that's the 6. Or that's the 6. What is the difference between those? I don't know. Huh. Can I get a different answer here? Is there any way to make this corner like so? The only way to make this corner happen now is to put an elbow space, but then what do we put here? Nothing. Therefore, this must be the 6. There's no way out of it. That forces this to be an elbow piece, because we have to take all of those spaces. Forces us to put a domino here, forces us to put an L space there. So far so good. Now it forces us to put this here. We're back to square one over here. I need a corner. Does this, oops, get me anywhere? If I did this, can I then solve the puzzle? No. I can't solve the puzzle. That's going to break it. It's also a guess. Okay, so once again, this is where we go. These are forced. It's all the same as I've solved before. I don't know the answer to this puzzle. Is there a trick maybe that we don't know with these? It's possible there's a puzzle somewhere that teaches me a trick that would solve it, because that can happen with games like this, but I don't think so. If we assume the 6s don't touch each other, how do I make this 6 work? I can't touch both of these cells. I can only touch one of them. If I move this up, this is how it would go. This is the end piece, so it's a knight's move away. So it would have to go to that space, like this, and then it would have to be those spaces. So we must make these touch, right? And if these touch, this is the only way to do it. This is what we had before, again, so I don't have an answer to this puzzle yet. Well, hold on, let's see about these. If I move this up and down, we can't move this any direction, so we have to move this side to side. We have to move this here. Now this has to move side to side. And we have to put a domino in here. That's all we can do. Okay. Possible. Putting an elbow here forces a corner there or there. We can't have a domino here. Because why? I don't know. This is even if we remove these 6s, we come up with the same. I'm just going to check. Do we have the same thing happen if I remove those? We know this is happening. If we move this up and down, this has nowhere to go. Therefore, it must move side to side. Therefore, we have to have this piece in here. That's the same as we just had. Can't move this. If we move this up, we touch, so this is still there. In fact, now it does connect the 6s into that. I was just making sure there was no other way to do it. There has to be something there. It's got to be a domino. Same as before. Didn't change a thing. Yeah, I don't know what to say if I'm restarting the puzzle and doing it all again and I'm coming up with the exact same solution that got me to a hole that I couldn't get out of. Alright, this is either yellow or orange or blue, basically. If it's a domino space, then what goes here? It can't be orange, green, or purple. We would have an elbow. Problem. Therefore, this is an elbow, just as we had before. Now, if we do this, well, if we make this the corner here, what piece is it going to be? Green? I would love that. Now we have a problem there. If it was, it can't be purple, it can't be blue, it can't be orange. It would have to be green. Therefore, the corner has to be like this. It can't be blue or purple, therefore it has to be green. And it is this. Okay. So far, so good. Now, what do we do here? Something else needs to go in here. I don't know what goes in there. Like, this is just what the answer is, right? There's no way out of this. You can only have orange or green here. And orange here would have to go this way. If a green were to go here, it's a corner in somewhere in this area. And which corner doesn't extend in both directions, right? This is the only corner it can be. It has to be like that. Problem. But if this is the corner, again, we're stuck with this. This has to be an elbow. Here, let's see if I can get this, but I think it's going to break. I think the puzzle's going to break, and I still won't have an answer an hour and a half into this. It's really frustrating. This can't be. This has to be green. All right, let's work out if I can get a different answer over here. Maybe that will help me. I mean, up here, no green, no purple, no blue, right? So we still have to do this. No orange, no purple, no green. So this is blue. No orange, this has to be purple. And the puzzle's broken. So what? There is a moment in here that I've made a mistake, and I genuinely cannot see it. I am genuinely looking at it going, I have made every single move logically. There is no alternative I could have made for any of this. I really hate puzzles that do this. Like, I know the whole point is I'm supposed to figure something out and solve a puzzle, but it doesn't feel like solving. By the time I finish this, I will not feel smart. I will feel stupid. because I have missed something that I can't see. I hate puzzles that are designed this way. I will do hard puzzles. I will do puzzles that take a while as long as I feel like I can solve it, and I don't feel like I can solve this one. So once again, I have to do this. I have to start over for the third time. There is absolutely no move, right? Once again, there is no way to do this. This one's correct. I can't solve this any differently. No way to do it. Which means I must put the orange here. Can't be green because it touches green, can't be purple because it'll touch, and it can't be blue because it'll make an orphaned piece. That's now forced. This can't be orange because it touches orange. Can't be blue or green. This is how it goes. It can't move up because what are we going to do? It therefore must move down. Therefore, this piece can't be an orphan. We can't block it. Whatever happens here can't happen. Now, looking at our shapes, can this palisade fit anywhere here? No. Can it fit anywhere there? No. And can it fit anywhere here? No. Therefore, every palisade with this shape is purple. Now, again, can we fit this palisade in an orange shape? No. Can we fit it in a blue shape? No. Can we fit it in a purple shape? No. Therefore, every one of these is green. We're going to end up in the same position we had before. These cannot extend anywhere beyond that. They all fit into a 3x3 space. Therefore, this is a new piece that extends one of these three directions. Now, if this one extends up and down, this one's going to touch. And if this one extends up and down, it's going to touch. So I think I should have been able to rule this out immediately. These must happen. We must have them go here. Now, this can't extend further. So this is either a domino going this direction, or it's a domino / elbow moving this direction. We're done there. This one can't move side to side because then who are we going to put up there? Therefore, it's up and down. We can't move it left, creates an orphan space. Therefore, that is still required. This is exactly as I've been doing it. No way out. Is there any way to put a green space here? No. Because then this green would be either this piece or that piece, both of which would have to connect to an O piece, like this. And then the other piece goes here. There's no getting around it. Therefore, orange. Great. Either green or orange goes here. A green piece here would be a problem because we need a 3x3 space to work with only one corner occupied. This is a 3x3 space. Actually, it isn't a 3x3 space. We can't have a cross shape anymore. Therefore, orange. Can't have blue, purple, or orange here. I mean, blue would fit, but it couldn't go right. It would have to go down. It would create an orphan space. Therefore, green. The only way to do it is here. We're back where we started. The only shape that goes here is blue. The only shape that goes here is purple now, because the other three colors are right next to it. Can't move this to the right because then it will have to continue. Therefore, it has to go down. It can't move left because it would create an orphan space. No difference from what we've done before. Let's see. In here, we have orange or green. The trouble with having green is it now needs to connect to a cross shape somewhere, right? There's a cross with an extra corner piece. There can't be a cross attached to this. It would have to be attached to here. Doesn't work as well. Therefore, this is orange. Yeah, so if I'm solving, every time I solve, I have the exact same answer. That doesn't work. Somewhere I am making a move that is incorrect. None of these I can see any alternative to. That is very frustrating. All right, what other moves are obvious? This is 1 apart, so this can't be a 6. It has to be 2, 3, or 4. This can't be a 6 either. The 4, though, does have to be 2, 6. Only way I can see it. We have 2, 3, 4, and 6. Max of 6, minimum of 2. That's 4 apart. 2 and 6. If I put a 6 here, and it were to go this direction, it can't attach here. It would have to be like so. How on earth would we make the rest of the shape? Therefore, That is still correct. All right, something that is 3 apart is 3 and 6, because we're between 2 and 6. So 2 to 5, 3 to 6 are the difference of 3. There's no 5 shape, therefore we have a 6 somewhere in here. But if this is the 6, then the 3 is below. There's nothing 2 apart from 3. So 6, 3, 4. Nothing's changed. We're still where we were. Okay. And then 3. Another way of looking at these pieces is that the corners, these are both corner pieces possibly. If they're corner pieces, they can't be, because if this is a corner piece, right, the only corner piece in the 6 is part of the O shape, and we have a problem here, right? The problem is we now have to connect this, and the only space it can go is here. We have an orphan space. Now if we do this one as a corner piece, or as the corner, that's fine. And then we have to go there. Now, can we imagine this without them being corner piece? If this is an end one of these two, it must extend up and then both directions here, and that's that. Or it extends this way in both directions but doesn't have anywhere to go. This one can extend this way in both directions, but that's going to overextend this way in both directions, but then we cause this problem. So the 2 arrangements of the 6 are here and here. This is the only one that doesn't break the puzzle. Great. Also, we know 3. Oh, right, we should know this now. Oops. And then, therefore, we know that. Corner piece. The only things with the corner piece, we have the elbow piece as a corner. That'll fit. The L piece as a corner, but it's already touching an L. And the sextamino has an L piece here, but it doesn't fit. So, elbow. No different from where we were before. What piece goes in here? It can't be 3 across to connect to here, because that's not the elbow shape. Therefore, domino. That forces the elbow here, just like we've had every time we do the puzzle. We got to have 2 and 6 in these arrangements. There can't be a 6 here, I don't think, because you think of it as it's either part of the O shape or one of the little nubs. If it's one of the little nubs, it's connected to an O shape, right? If it's a nub, it's connected to an O shape here, which must go here, and then the only spot is there to finish the shape. If it's part of the O, it has to cross one of these borders, so it can't be that. So this cannot be the 6 at all. That must be 2. It's going to force us in that direction. We seem to be fine. Puts a 4 here. No different from how I've solved the puzzle the other 3 times. Do I have another? Okay, so 2, 6, and 2, 6. Looking at the shapes again, if I did this, it's either part of the O shape, which it can't be because it can't move left or right, or it's a nub. And if it's a nub, it has to connect to an O shape, and it can't do that. Therefore, 2 and 6, retracing my steps, getting madder and madder as I do it. This 2 cannot move down, because what's 3 away from 2 is 5. Therefore, the 2 is to move up. So we either have a 3 or 6 in both of these. Now this 6 could be part of an O shape. If it was O shape here, this is the arrangement. That's totally valid. If it's part of an O shape here, it's now connected this way. This is fine. Now if it's the nub, it could be this nub. If it goes this direction, it basically has to be that. Now if the nub goes this way, we're screwed. The nub goes that way, we're screwed. So yeah, this is one arrangement. This is one arrangement. Both of these arrangements force an elbow here, which breaks the puzzle there, because it has to be the nub piece and it can't extend into an O. So this is the only hold on, this is the only arrangement that works. We're just saying that, but again, we're not solving the puzzle any differently than before. If this 4 extends to the right, I think we break the puzzle. Yeah, because we would have to extend further, and then... Yeah, this causes 2 dominoes. This causes orphan pieces. Therefore, that's blocked. This can't happen. This can't be a 3, and it can't be a 4. It must be a 2. Which means, what's this piece? It can't be a 3 because it would cause an orphan. Can't be 2 because it's connected. Can't be a 6. It must be the 4. And we're back to where we were from our very first solve. This must come up and go right in order to avoid an orphaned piece. This must come up. And then it could move this way. No, hold on. What's 2 away from 4? 2 or 6, but it can't be 2. Therefore, 6. So if we move in here, where does the 6 go? Therefore, up. So this now must be 2 or 6. Let's see. This can't move over because then we have an orphan space. This is the 4. Again, we are not really breaking new ground here. This must be part of the O or part of the nub. If it's part of the O, this is the only way to make it. Where's the nub? Here and there. Yeah, that's the only place we can put the nubs. And then it creates an orphan space. Therefore, it's not part of the O, it's part of the nub. If it goes this way, we have to go both of these directions. This doesn't work. Therefore, this is the only arrangement of the 6 that works. No, that's still a good note. This must be 3 or 6. Hold on. We have to do it this way. Because we can't have a 6 touching a 6. Therefore, here, this elbow now can't move up. Because if we move up and over, we have a domino, which is touching a domino. If it moves up in this direction, it causes an orphan piece. Therefore, it must avoid moving up, and it must cover those. Now, this 6... If it's part of the O, this is here, the nubs go there, we have an orphan space. If it's part of the nub, it is here. We now have these, so I can clear my notes. Okay. If this were a 6 space, it's part of the nub, which means I have to move both directions. It cannot be a 6 space, therefore it is an elbow. Here can be an elbow or a 6. No, if it is a 6 here, if it's a nub, we have this issue. Can't touch the other 6. So we have another elbow that goes like that. So ordinarily I'd feel like, hey, we're doing pretty good solving the puzzle, but I know we're going to run into the problem here. How do we solve this section? Without making any assumptions. This is fine. This is not because it touches, so we do have to break that. This can't move down. It can move down here. What goes here? Right? It can't be anything larger than 3. But it can't be an elbow because there's nowhere for the elbow to go. So we do have to make this move here. So the question is whether this moves down or moves up. Don't know yet. If I put a purple here, it would have to be like this. No getting around that. Is there any other way to solve this section? Either the purple goes here or the green does. Now if the green goes here, what's that tell us about other stuff? Did this. Hold on, this purple can't move up because then we have an orphan. So what goes here? Orange. Which definitely means purple can't go here. Green can't go here. This is also orange. What goes here? Orange or blue? Either way it extends. If blue goes here, we cannot fit any piece there. We have orange. And now we have broken the puzzle again. There's nothing that fits here. because this causes a problem. Unless I have somehow screwed this up. But how? How could I possibly do this any different? Purple must be the shape for this space. What on earth could I possibly do differently? I genuinely don't see it. It's not like, oh, I'm close, I'm going to figure it out. I genuinely am going through, not seeing it, and getting angrier at this puzzle. Over here, the only shape that fits is either a domino or an elbow. Domino causes a problem. Must be an elbow. Forces the green to take this spot. Forces the domino to take this spot. Forces me to put an elbow here. If I move the elbow up, what goes in there? It has to be a corner piece. It would have to be green. If I move this down, what would this corner piece be? I would have to have a domino here? No, I'd have to put... Yeah, there's nothing. This must move up. That forces this to take the corner. Forces me to make this move, that move. And now we would have to do this. So really, the whole puzzle comes down to this spot here. What do I do with this spot? Like, this is so close. I could have a piece here, but then, what do I do? Got so many orphaned pieces. There's just no getting around it. A corner here is breaking the puzzle. This corner would break the puzzle. Would this corner break it? Yes. So it's completely broken. I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to check. There is at least one mistake. Yes, I know. So if that's the case, it has to be here. But if I have it here, then these two have to go together. It's going to say there's still... Then it would have to be here. Oh. But then I don't... How do you make this corner work? Corner here would break it. No, it wouldn't. It would actually be this. So I'm telling you right now, to complete the final puzzle in the castle area, I hated this puzzle. Hated every second of this puzzle. I think it's awful because it didn't make me feel smart when I solved it. It didn't make me feel like I knew what I was doing. And you can see from the other puzzles I've solved in the game, I'm not a complete idiot. Like, I'm definitely not the greatest puzzle solver in the world. I am no cracking the cryptic. I will not pretend I'm anywhere close to their level. But this was not a joy to solve in the slightest. Absolute pain. I think this one should have been revamped. I don't understand what was going on with that puzzle. The game has failed to explain to me how the game works if this was the puzzle they did. Sorry, I just have to say it really plainly. Awful, awful design. Alright, great artisan of Glimmith, your skill shines through every pane of glass you've touched. Furthermore, I've delivered a collection of weighty designs across these lands and laid them atop crimson plinths. Should you rise to their challenge, we'll have Glimith's unwavering regard with gratitude, Elias Vidimus. So something new is happening? Crimson plinths. Great artisan of Glimmith, the isle ahead houses the most difficult restorations of any. They are yours should you wish to attempt them. Once you have fully completed 10 areas, the way forward shall open. The windows are newly imbued with an enchantment that will reveal any artworks I've hidden too well. With shining regard, Elias Vidimus. So I can't go here yet because I haven't fully completed those areas? No, this way ahead is normal. Is it? Hold on, let me look. It's no new ideas. So maybe this is the ending, but this is like a special zone here that says you need to restore 10 areas completely. I don't know what that means. I've done 2 areas completely at the beginning of the game. If we go all the way back, these ones are I see. We have new puzzles here. Well, I'm going to save those for another time and hope that they're actually good. So that is all for now. I've just got to stop there. Thanks so much for watching. Sorry you had to watch this video. I will see you all the next time around. Have a good one. Bye.